faces in the front window. Gentlemen, you have been warned, and ladies, you've been inspired. Not there, ladies and gentlemen, but you know what? You're on holiday, so you're there. A for the cocktail place, that's good. And now it's Beatles territory, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to look up on the right-hand side of the road as we come up to Hard Day's Night Hotel, which is, of course, our Beatles-themed hotel in the city. And you can see the Fab Four up on the first floor now, can't you? These four statues, ladies and gents, are collectively known as Together Again. What the Beatles are wearing here represents what they did after the band split. So there's John Lennon on the corner of Matthew Street, he's in his New York denims. Next to him, Paul as he was for the Wings, then George, the concert for Bangladesh, and last but not least is Ringo Starr, sadly not dressed as Thomas the Tank Engine. Which I do think is a missed opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. And of course you saw the entrance to Matthew Street, ladies and gentlemen. You head down that alleyway to the world famous Cabin Club, where the Beatles played over 292 times. And then afterwards they would go down the road to a little pub called the Grapes, probably 292 times. There's also a third pub down, Torian Snuggle pub that, ladies and gentlemen, and it's £3.50 for most pints, which in the city centre is pretty good in this post-trust age. The reason why I mention that pub though is, that's where the Beatles were paid by their first ever manager, the Welshman Alan Williams. Now, of course, the most famous Beatles manager is Brian Epstein, of course. He owned a record store not that far away from here, and one day quite a lot of people were coming into the store buying a specific record, My Bonnie Who Lies Over the Ocean. That's because the Beatles had played backing on it when they were in Hamburg in Germany. So it was the only kind of physical copy that they had of stuff to sell. Either way, this got Brian interested enough to go and see the band. Ladies and gentlemen, they went on to be one of the most influential bands in musical history. Same thing that happened to Alan Williams. He went on to sell cups with his face on, with the moniker, "This is the mug who sold the Beatles." So at least he had a sense of humour about the whole thing, ladies and gentlemen. Just going between our footballing themed hotels in the city. On the right we pass the Shankly Hotel, LFC's second longest serving, and still to my mind most charismatic manager Bill Shankly, who set the foundations for the club's golden era, 60s, 70s, 80s. Opposite that was the Dixie Dean Hotel, William Dixie Dean being one of Everton's most famous players of the early 20th century. They're both lovely hotels though, ladies and gentlemen, although between you and me, I wouldn't recommend the bar at the Everton Hotel, because they haven't got any cups. Up the Reds, ladies and gents, up the Reds. Incidentally, if any of you happen to be a defensive midfielder, we are quite desperate at this point, so that'll be lovely. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, is stop number 4. This is for the World Museum, the Walker Art Gallery, the Public Library, and it is our closest stop to Lang Street train station as well. If you want to jump off here, guys, ping the bells or give us a wave, but stay seated. We'll drop you off when we get through the cobbles. You off here, guys? Yeah, sound. Yeah, just stay seated for a moment. Before we get there, I want to show you the traffic tunnel to your left-hand side. Those of you who are pointing out the ventilation shaft here about 20 minutes ago, that's the tunnel that moves the air around. Now that's called the Queensway Traffic Tunnel, and it was opened by the King. Further up the road is the Kingsway Traffic Tunnel. Anyone want to guess who that was opened by? The Queen, yeah. We're doing it backwards here for a laugh, folks. So that's the World Museum right down there to your left, folks. You've got about 5 floors of aquariums, planetariums, ancient Egyptian mummies and dinosaurs. The only part you have to pay for, folks, are the planetariums and the Greek gods exhibition. I'll get out of your way, guys, and you can jump off in front of the Public Library, and the Walker Art Gallery is a bit further up the road, okay? Squid. You're not going to get a picture of your chocolate, ladies and gentlemen, but it's a good excuse to go around the library, so there you go. Starting from the sea in Chariots, on the road, folks. And yes, I do know what it is, but I'm not going to tell you. There you go. As we turn, ladies and gentlemen, at the top of the road, you can see Liverpool's column. Very similar to Nelson's column, of course, in London, but it is in actual fact the Duke of Wellington who stands atop Liverpool's column, and he is facing and overlooking his most famous battleground, and that is, of course, the Battle of Waterloo. I'll tell you what, ladies and gents, he's got cracking eyesight, you can see that one from there. Waterloo is in Belgium. To your left-hand side, St. John's Memorial Gardens. There are memorial trees in here for John Lennon and for George Harrison. Memorial is for Liverpool soldiers who fought during the Victorian era. And then finally, when we get to the front of the gardens, you will see a black copper cylinder. And this is the city's memorial for the now 97 Liverpool Football Club supporters who lost their lives as a consequence in the Hillsborough Stadium disaster 6 September 1992. Coming up on our right hand side, ladies and gentlemen, we're just passing a good pub. That's it. No, we've got a red light. So that's Dr. Duncan's, ladies and gentlemen, on the right. This is like a wingback chairs, fireplace your dog can sleep in front of kind of pub. Decent beer and a burger off, I'll ask to check as well. But the man who it's named after, Dr. William Duncan, so he was actually Britain's first chief medical officer. And he was a very important character when it came to stuff like public sanitation. His research into public sanitation is what got him the job in the first place. Apparently the only place in the city centre that's doing Cane's beer again, which is Liverpool's local beer. Try the Razor one, that's the best one. Directly ahead of us is Lime Street train station, the station that connects us to the rest of the country. Some of you may have seen that already. Meanwhile, to your left, you've got St George's Square. This is actually one of the first neo-classical buildings in Europe. Very ancient Greek on the outside. Queen Victoria once said it would not look out of place in ancient Athens. Which is a lovely compliment on the statue of the Queen and her husband, that probably get away with it. Inside the building does get a little bit more Roman. There's a lot of mosaics and white statues, etc. And you can do guided tours inside the building, ladies and gentlemen, which I highly recommend. Tell Sean we've said hello. To your left hand side, that's the Empire Theatre. And behind the Empire, we're going to pass another little pub called Mar-Egerton's. So the Empire Theatre, that's where all the big bands used to play in the city of Liverpool. And then Mar-Egerton's is where they'd sneak off through the stage door for a swift arc, before, after, or during performance. It's worth a quick nose inside there, Mar-Egerton's. See all the famous people that have on there, like Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr.'s, people like David Winehouse have done there, Sean Connery, Tom Jones. Fonz himself, everyone been there. I imagine the Beatles being in there as well, ladies and gentlemen. The Empire is actually the last place they played in Liverpool. That was back in 1965. And 2 years after that, Jimi Hendrix headlined there, and he had Pink Floyd and the Nice supporting. 67, ladies and gentlemen, was a pretty solid line. And if you have a look to our left-hand side now, ladies and gentlemen, I may show you off this bank of architecture here. So do you notice with these buildings on the left, folks, the windows are getting smaller with each floor up. See that? Yeah. So that is a cracking example of what is known as Georgian architecture. Upstairs with me, we can have a look down into Lime Street train station, see all the trains go back and forth, as well as the solid sandstone cliff they have to carve through in order to get Lime Street into the city centre. Worth it though, I mean, you come off the train today, the first thing you see is St George's Hall. It's quite a good start for the city. Yeah, amazing. And the Adelphi Hotel, ladies and gentlemen, is coming up on our left-hand side. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to jump off here, do let us know. So probably the most famous hotel in the city of Liverpool, ladies and gentlemen. This station, the Adelphi, this was first opened back in about 1910, 1911. It actually uses the same interior designers as White Star Cruise Liner Company did for their fronting palaces. And when you find yourself in the Adelphi, ladies and gentlemen, specifically the Sefton Suite, that is actually an exact replica of the Titanic's smoking room. My advice for you, ladies and gentlemen, don't ask for ice in your drinks.